Hello guys, I'm Cesar here, welcome to my channel. So I pulled for Carlotta and got her S3, not activated yet because I wanna start the video with an S0 showcase using the permanent banner weapon. And then as we progress through the video, I will activate her sequences one by one to show their effects, both with Carlotta solo so we can see her personal damage, and then adding her teammates to buff her. I don't have her weapon this time, the weapon is good though, and if you wanna invest in Carlotta past S0, it's better to pull her weapon before any sequences. The only reason I don't have it is because I had this crazy lucky streak on character banner, and I was like, okay, let's keep pulling characters I guess, and run out of funds for the weapon. But it's okay, this one from permanent banner is her second best option, only like 17% behind her signature. Okay, let's see the builds before we get into the fights. This is my Carlotta build, as I already said, with permanent banner weapon. Then these are the echoes I farmed so far. My construct is the only one that's missing crit rate, the rest have double crit on them. The cost one are kinda bad though, lot of defense and HP, but yeah, this set has been out for like a week, still have to keep farming it. Her forte is pretty much maxed out, except for basic attacks, but you don't really use them in team play. And this is my Sheshi, she's still work in progress, not the best Sheshi out there. So she also has permanent banner weapon, and I'm using Moonlit set on her. This new Empyrean set is also a really good option, providing less buffs to Carlotta and more personal damage for Sheshi. The reason I'm not using it is because my Sheshi skill levels look like this. I got Sheshi now on her rerun and wasn't really planning to get her, so I've been farming the weekly boss for Carlotta and cannot level Sheshi any further for now. She still works very well, but yeah, she will provide more stout DPS damage when she's actually leveled. And here is my Verena, using R2 variation weapon. For the echoes, healer set, trying to get as much energy recharge as possible. This is her forte and she is S2, which helps building Concerto faster. Okay, let's start with the showcase, first with S0, R0 Carlotta solo, so we can see her personal damage. If you are solo, you do need to use her charge and basic attacks to gain forte. Once you have full forte, hold to do your first strong hit, that's 27k, followed by 48k from the first liberation, 4 hits of 23k and final hit of 80k. And that's pretty much it for her personal damage, then you are left doing basic attacks until you have her liberation again. So if you wanna play Carlotta solo, you need to have around 160 energy recharge to use her liberation of cooldown. But that's only for solo, energy won't be an issue in team play. Now let's see her S0 damage with her team. You always wanna start with Carlotta's skill to gain some forte, and then you do your healer and buffer rotation. You can cancel the second skill before Carlotta goes into the air, and switch faster to Verena. I don't do it here because Crownless always does that jump at the start of the fight, and he jumps really far if you do the cancel. So yeah, start with Carlotta's skill, build outro with Verena, and intro with Sheshi. Then do your Sheshi things, I will leave it on the screen, what you need to do with Sheshi, if you wanna pause and read it. Then intro with Carlotta, use her skill, plunge, and at this point you have your forte ready, don't need to do any basic attacks with her. You can proceed to her burst damage. When she has all the team buffs, she's doing about 2.5 times more damage compared to solo. Here is the final hit going up to 200k. Remember to use the echo before switching her out, and that's a rotation, just repeat it again. I really like playing this team. If you look at my channel you can see I'm more of a solo guy, but this team feels super fun to play. Everything flows so nicely, there is no energy issue, and the damage is pretty good. There are a few more things you can do to make the rotation a bit faster, like cancelling the first 2 Sheshi teleports, jumping out of them. I'm not doing that here though, just some comfy gameplay. And this is gonna be a 1 minute 25 clear, pretty good stuff from this team, considering it's S0 characters, permanent banner weapons, and Sheshi skills are only at level 6. Well, time to start activating the sequences. S1 gives a crit rate buff to her liberation hits, This one is better if you don't have Shorekeeper, so it was pretty good for me. If you have Shorekeeper, she already gives the same crit rate buff as this sequence, so it loses some value, but it's still alright. Helps you get closer to 100% crit rate or reach it. Not much to show for the S1 when it comes to gameplay. Your numbers are going to be the same, except you will get more crits. It also comes with a QOL that helps gain Forte faster, but you don't really need that, unless you are playing solo. It's really easy to gain Forte on her. S2 now. This is a huge increase on the last hit of her Liberation, the one that does the most damage. Let's see it solo first. Remember, the last hit used to be 80k, and now it's 180. So 100k damage from the S2. And now S2 in a team, it used to be 210k at S0, now it goes up to 460k. Straight up damage increase for this sequence. S3 now, the last one I will be showing here. This adds a second hit to her outro, which hits pretty hard, and also increases her skill damage on top of that. Let's see it solo first. It's only these initial hits that get buffed. The hits in the Liberation are considered skill damage, but are not actually skills, so they are unaffected. The other part of the 3 is in the outro, which cannot be used solo, so let's move to team play. I'm slowing down the gameplay a bit so you can see this better, because these attacks don't have the huge number visual effect like the Liberation, but they are still pretty significant. That's 100k from the last hit of the skill with team buffs. Finally, let's see the outro. I'm slowing down again. This first 50k hit is the classic outro, everyone has that at S0, and then that second 70k is the new hit that she's getting from the S3. And I cannot show them here, but let's talk a bit about the last sequences. S4 is a damage buff, not like super big, but the entire team benefits from it. S5 is a buff to her for the attack, so if it was 80k before, will be around 120k with the S5. And the 6 is the best one, of course, huge damage increase for her Liberation hits, and she will also freeze the enemy with each hit, making her a lot safer to play. So the stopping points are pretty much the same as Camellia. She works very well at S0, as we saw in the showcase earlier, but if you want to make her even stronger, get her weapon first, then S2, S3 and S6 are the best sequences and recommended stopping points. And that's it for this Carlotta showcase. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope to see you soon.